Hi, this is Anna Horford, and you're listening to Horford Happy Hour. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Horford Happy Hour. This week we are going to be talking about how to go from a sad bitch to a bad bitch. And joining me once again is my friend Kylie. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me back again.
And I think you were the one who kind of said that, right? You like when we initially were thinking of episode ideas, you were like, we said something about going from like a sad bitch to a bad bitch.
To bad bitch.
So we're following through on that. Mm-hmm. And our wine this week is Menage a Trois Lavish Merlot. And I'm like a fan of the Menage a Trois line in general. And then I saw that like they had this new one on the shelf, mm-hmm. and you were like, oh, it looks really pretty.
Yeah, it's a pretty bottle.
Yeah, so it kind of drew my eye and I decided to try it. What do you think of it? What's your first impression?
It's really good.
Yeah, I like it too. It's a little darker,
mm-hmm.
but
not too heavy.
Yeah, but if you like Merlot, I would definitely give this one a thumbs up.
Good fall wine.
Yes. Okay, so September was Mental Health Awareness Month.
We fell a little short for
this
episode.
It is now October. But
I'm doing it for posterity.
Yeah, exactly. We want people to know that it's always important to talk mental health. So we're going to be discussing different ways to cope through rough times, mm-hmm. and your anxiety and depression and all that. So just to kind of get the ball rolling, get things started, I wanted to ask what your opinion was. Why do you think that there's such like a stigma and negativity surrounding depression and anxiety?
Well, I think in the past, nobody ever wanted to talk about anything that like wasn't good or wasn't nice or wasn't like that was something you were supposed to keep to yourself, and those were private thoughts. But with that being said, I do feel like that's starting to change a little bit. Take a look at the internet right now. Like there's like depression memes, mm-hmm. are really big right now, which they're actually hilarious and relatable, but also it kind of like reinforces the fact that like you're not the only person that feels like that, mm-hmm. so you don't feel as bad for feeling the way that you do. Yeah. You shouldn't feel bad anyway, but a lot of the time you not only do you feel bad, but then you feel guilty for feeling bad.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a social media win. Mm-hmm. You know, like we've talked about how negative social media can be, and for people just to kind of find some solidarity, mm-hmm. and just like, okay, over 100,000 people like this depression meme. Yes. Like, I feel better about how I'm feeling in my own head.
Like, it's a way to make light of it, but also feel less alone. And, I mean, if you click on, for example, something on Twitter or even on Instagram, a depression meme, there's also going to be people underneath it, like, here's a hotline, like, here's a resource. Mm-hmm. So it is, I feel like, helping people a little bit.
Initially, I thought you were going to say there are people, like, commenting negative, like, shit.
Oh, yeah, that too.
But. Yeah. No, I think the positive a lot of the times mm-hmm. will outweigh the negative, but you're always going to have, like, trolls and stuff just being stupid or whatever. But I think that, like you said, that seeing it on social media mm-hmm. really, really helps. And also that I think our generation, we're just so different from our parents.
We're very, very open.
Yeah. And we talk about things, I mean, this might be more personal towards Kylie and I, but we'll talk to like our moms about things that mm-hmm. they would never talk to their moms about.
No, yeah.
Or like, everything's just, I think, a little bit lighter, and we don't take things maybe as seriously. Like it's not like a no-no zone to talk about.
Yeah, it's not like you
to talk
have
about
to shut it down.
Yeah, sex and like intimate stuff or mm-hmm. whatever. Like, and so I think that's a really big positive, because whenever people are keeping stuff in or keeping mm-hmm. secrets, like that's when you kind of get into trouble with things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I went online and I pulled up some facts just about depression from the National Network of Depression Centers website. So these are kind of really interesting, and I don't necessarily want this to be like a heavy episode, but I think it is important to talk about like actual facts, just so people realize like that this is, valid and real and whatnot. So the first one is that over 210 billion is lost in earnings per year due to mental illness.
That's wild.
Isn't that insane? I mean, I think we need to really recognize how much it impacts society, even the economy, mm-hmm. It's just, it's a trickle down thing. And I was really, really shocked when I saw that number, like over 200 billion. That's crazy. And also, 1 in 5 Americans are going to be impacted by mental illness during their lives, which I kind of thought that was low.
That does seem low.
That's
maybe reported
illness. Yeah.
I mean, think about all the people that are struggling with, depression and anxiety and even more serious mental illnesses like bipolar disorder and, things like that aren't seeking help, that are either afraid or don't necessarily even know that what they're experiencing isn't typical.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is that some people just probably have no fucking clue. They just probably think that they're sad and they
for a long time, I thought that everybody just went through their life like this anxious and on edge all the time. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh, nope.
Yeah. And
okay.
Kylie and I are like, not everyone's like this, but we're a little bit more open about mental health and whatnot. We've both struggled with depression, anxiety, all that. So we feel really comfortable talking about it. I know a lot of people don't.
Right.
And I think that's another thing. And you said, reported.
Yeah.
That's true, because some people don't want people to know.
Some people won't ever seek any kind of help or ever let anyone know.
Yeah. That's wild. And also, I guess this is another fact. 2/3 of people with depression do not actively seek nor receive proper treatment.
Right.
So that's a big thing as well, because what if you're getting diagnosed for something that's, you're not being treated for the right thing, or
finding like the proper mental health care is really important. Once you do decide that you want to seek treatment. I've been through tons of therapists, and I saw a lot of them that I didn't like and I didn't agree with, so I didn't continue to see them. And once you finally find people that you feel like you respond to, and you feel like sort of also align with, your own beliefs and your own outlook, and you like have a treatment plan that you agree with. Like, I think there's, for example, a lot of doctors that'll just give you a prescription and then not want to do anything.
Like no follow-up.
Right. Nothing like therapy-wise or anything like that. Like, I think it has to be sort of like a compounded effort, and you need to be looked after, both physiologically and psychologically.
Right. Did that ever discourage you? Like before you found like the right, therapist? When
I was younger, I saw several different therapists, and I had like really weird experiences. I found that not a lot, but maybe I just saw really shitty ones, unfortunately. That would make sense. But I felt like I was having their own issues and their own background projected onto me, and they were only viewing me through their own lens, which if you're going to be a mental health professional, like, you need to be as like
everyone's
unbiased and clear-headed as possible. So I had a really hard time with that. I also just I think I have a harder time finding a therapist than usual, because I have like a really weird way of.
She's very sassy.
Understand, like, just the way my worldview and the way I understand people and interact with people is.
Yeah, I feel like if your therapist said something to you that you didn't agree with, you'd be like, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Like in a nice way, or like in a.
Or I would question it.
Right.
So when I finally did find, the right person for me, he would call me on my shit. And he'd know when I was, just trying to like tell him what I thought I was supposed to say so I could leave, or, So.
And that was perfect for you.
Yeah. So if you're seeking help right now and you're looking for a mental health professional and you feel like it's not working, or you're like at a dead end and you can't find anyone that you like or that you connect with, like, really keep looking. There's somebody out there. There's somebody in your area that is going to be helpful to you. You just might have to go through a couple before you find them.
Yeah.
And somebody that works for you might not work for your best friend, and vice versa. It's super personal.
For sure. I absolutely agree with that. And another fact that's really sad is that we lose about the same amount of people to suicide each year as we do to breast cancer.
That's crazy.
And there is one death by suicide every 12 minutes in the US, which is like insane to think about. And it's so sad. And, I think that we've come a long way as far as mental health awareness, but we just have a lot of work to do.
Well, and I think as far as mental health, suicide sort of still more taboo than speaking about the rest of it.
For sure.
And people
especially if you're religious or...
And people have really strong opinions that aren't always fair.
Yeah. I think we need to like normalize these discussions, and like we said earlier, no one should ever feel ashamed about it. No. Because it's a literal chemical imbalance in your brain.
Yeah. And
there's plenty of scientific research to back that up. So
yeah.
I know that there's still people out there who who don't really believe depression is real.
Yeah.
They just think it's like being really sad.
Right.
They don't know how like debilitating
Or
it
people,
can be.
there's like a right or a wrong way to be depressed or a reason that you can or can't be depressed, and that's just not the case at all. I mean, sometimes it just purely is your brain chemistry, and that's just sort of the deal. Like, you can be fine, quotes, and, you know, have no quote unquote like external aggressors or stressors or whatever, and still feel awful,
right?
And that's okay.
Definitely.
Get some help.
Yeah. So therapy, counseling, medication, I feel like all of those are reliable resources. But what are some of your favorite ways to like get out of a funk? Or, you know, just even to make it a little bit better? Yeah.
So, I mean, right now, especially, I think it's a good time to be talking about this because we're in Michigan and it's dark 100 hours of every day. So, you know, the clinical depression and the seasonal depression are teaming up and messing me up.
Have you seen that episode of Broad City where Alana's like, she's like, in the winter, like, I get really depressed. She's like, and then she's like, but also the spring and like the summer and the fall too.
Yes.
And that's like, I feel you, girl.
So right now is a good time to be talking about it because maybe even there's people out there that don't have clinical depression and may never struggle with clinical depression, but the seasonal depression will get you because it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, you just really have to focus on taking care of yourself. I think, you know, you have to, you know, make sure you're getting enough rest and make sure you're eating right for yourself. That means something different for everyone. Like, for me, I just switched back to vegetarianism, and that works for me, physically and mentally. It doesn't work for everyone. It works for me. I have to be careful with the drinking. In college, I always would have, like, now what I refer to as, like, depression hangovers. And I just thought that was normal. Like, I just thought you woke up after drinking and not only physically felt shitty, but, like,
mentally
had this, like, intense anxiety and just, like, horrific, like, feeling that, like, you ruined your whole life.
Yeah.
And that's not even just, like, intense drinking. Like, that's not even a blackout. That's, like, a couple drinks. And I would wake up and be like, oh, my God, everything terrible is happening. My world's falling apart. So watching the drinking, doesn't have to say you can't still go out and have fun, but I'll go out and not drink at all. I'll beat the DD, and that just makes me feel better. Exercising, I don't do that as much as I should, but
neither do I. But but it does help. You know, and it gets your endorphins going and whatnot. And some of the things that I put down, you're probably gonna be like, same page. Yeah. So even little things like take a shower.
Yeah, like. Put on a face mask.
Like, rinse that shit off, you know? Like, rinse it away.
If you need to sit on the floor of your shower for 20 minutes, do it.
Yeah, listening to, like, Bon Iver and sad music.
Do what you need
to
do.
Cry it out. Have a good shower cry.
A shower can do wonders.
Can do wonders, for sure. Another thing that I love to do, and you know this, is I love to, like, do my hair and especially my makeup.
Yeah.
It is, like, therapy for me. And... you know, it makes you feel good because when you look good, you feel good, and you're almost tricking your brain into just being like, bitch, you're fine.
Right.
You know, even though you're not, like, at least
it's like a proactive step.
Yeah, it's another step in what, you know, you can do to make yourself feel better. Even putting on a really cute outfit that, like, makes you feel, like, so good, like, bangable.
Feel
like,
hot,
that's a good one. It's something that my mom has really tried to push on me in a good way is to list the things that I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
And I believe in the power of positivity and what you put out in the world, you get back. So, you know, even like little things like a roof over my head, clothes, a car, you know, my job, everything. And think about how lucky you are, not to say like you can't be sad because you have all these things. Like it's still, you know, life can still suck. It can still feel bad, but it does help.
Acknowledging the good things and, you know, being thankful for them is helpful.
And that's something that I try to do, you know, if I don't want to get out of bed in the morning or whatever, I'm like, okay, listen up. You know, you have a great family, great friends, a good support system. And so many people don't have that. So like all the little things that you take for granted every day, acknowledging those I think is healthy.
Yeah.
And another thing that I like to do is like, I'll just go for a drive. Like, get out of the house.
I love to do that.
You
with
know,
some music and just like, roads that you know well enough that it's not stressful.
Yeah. Like, just get out of the house. If you feel like you can't get out of bed, just roll out. I don't care what you look like.
I'll literally just go to the grocery store sometimes.
Like get in your car and do something, you know, even if you don't want to. Like, just tell yourself, sorry.
Put on a hat and some sunglasses so I don't see any locals at the grocery store.
Avoid everyone you know. Another one is what we're doing right now, which is having a glass of wine. So I think, like what Kylie said, you do have to balance. So don't go crazy, because it's when you are depressed, it's easy to get lost in that. It's easy to binge drink. It's easy to whatever. And you guys know that I talk about like partying on Twitter and stuff. I do try to keep that, I've said this, to the weekends.
Yeah.
And then like I'll have an occasional glass of wine during the week or something. And I think everyone is different in that aspect as well, because alcohol is a depressant.
Yeah.
You know, and it does affect people differently. So I think just really gauge how, you know.
And a glass of wine can also be sort of like a mindset, like, oh, you know, I came home from work and I cooked dinner and I drank a glass of wine, and like that's your relaxation, that's your wind down. And you could just as easily replace a glass of wine with like a cup of tea or like a La Croix. Like, I don't know what your taste preferences are, but it's just sort of like having a nice like wind down routine, which I think is important too, like especially when you're talking about getting adequate sleep. Like having a routine so you're not all over the place,
for sure,
is helpful.
For sure. Next one on the list is listen to music, which this is kind of a trick for me.
Like a double edge.
Double edge, like, because the music that I like is mostly like indie alternative music. It's very sad and depressing, and if you get into that funk, like, you won't come out of it. So like, put something that makes you feel good. You know how music can give you a high sometimes? Whatever does the trick for you, put that on, and just put in some headphones and just try it out for 10 minutes and try and zone out. Just listen to music. I think that's really helpful. A lot of people, especially here in Michigan, where it's soon going to be legalized, I know it's legalized in Boston recreationally right now, is just smoking weed. So if you are in a safe space where you can do that,
if it's something that works for you,
I'm
like,
then go for it.
It doesn't work for me, which is a huge bummer. I like have like all of the answers to the universe, and I'm super paranoid. So give it a shot. No harm, no foul.
Try it out.
It might help. It might not. But you know, you'll never know until you try.
Right. And it does help a lot of people.
Some people. I think it helps more people than it doesn't. That's
And if anything, it'll just put you to sleep. You know, and then.
Well, and I mean, even if you are not necessarily looking to like get high, there's a lot of cannabis products. That can be really beneficial without like, for if you're somebody that's like me, without the more negative side effects. Because for me, it just doesn't. It doesn't work.
Do the trick,
unfortunately.
And that's okay. See, there are different things for everyone out there. Another one that I have is reading and writing. If that's something you enjoy, I really love writing, and I love reading as well. But I've just always kind of been a writer, so it's just good to get those thoughts out sometimes on paper, and just kind of let it go.
And it's really helpful to look back on too. Like I have journals going back to when I was like in middle school. Which is like kind of cringy as well.
Mine are so embarrassing.
Mine like I really thought I was out here like Edgar Allan Poe or something.
Yeah, but. Me too. Mine are just like I found my middle school journal, and it was very weird. Like I had a picture of like Orlando Bloom in the front.
Oh my god.
And I was like, my dream man, like, what are you, 12? Like, relax.
Listen, not much has changed, though. Let's be real.
Yeah, he's still pretty fucking hot. And then, like, hit someone up. I think that's, like, especially if you're feeling like, holy shit, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm a little scared right now or whatever, or you're just not in a good space. Hit up a friend, hit up a family member. Like, just talk to someone or have them pick you up. Go see a movie. Go do something.
Or also on the flip side, if you're not feeling good and you just need a minute to yourself, don't feel bad for being like, hey, like, I know we had plans tonight, but I'm really sorry. I'm having a bad day. I just need to stay home and chill. Can we reschedule? Because I know, like, for me personally, that'll give me anxiety if I'm having a bad week or a bad day and I'm approaching something that I've committed to. Because you don't want to let somebody down, but also,
it's like when you make plans with someone, like those memes where it's like when you make plans with someone, the plans are coming up, it's like someone's
you're like
sweating.
Panicking.
They're like, oh no.
So, I mean, just be open and be honest, because chances are, if you end up following through on that plan, you're going to be miserable and you're going to make everyone else around you miserable too. So just be honest, take the night off.
Yeah.
It's okay. And people that are your friends or your family and people that love you are going to understand and not be angry with you.
For sure. And the last one is a fun one. Get physical. So
yes,
work out or have sex.
It's my preferred cardio personally.
Any kind of physical activity.
But I mean, like, don't...
Orgasms are known to actually, like, really lift your mood, make you happier.
Don't, like, hit up your ex that you're going to hate yourself for having sex with, but, like, get a toy. Or, like, get a reliable side piece.
Mm-hmm. As long as it's safe and consensual. Then you work your shit out however you need to. Mm-hmm. So those were, like, my big ones, you know, for what I like to do to kind of wind down. And I feel like the most important takeaways from this are just keep going. Yeah. Even if you don't want to, there have been days where I, like, don't even want to get out of bed. And give yourself credit, even for the little things. Like going to work and,
getting up, getting dressed, brushing your teeth.
Committing to
washing your
plans.
hair. That's a huge one for me, personally.
Washing your hair.
That's a gold star for me on my bad days.
Pat on the back for that. Don't shut yourself out from the world. Is another one. And that's really hard to do because sometimes you're just like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to do anything. I just, but it'll eat you up. Yeah, you can't isolate yourself all the time. Mm-mm. And don't feel bad about feeling bad. Like, it's okay. Mm-hmm. I think that's the kind of the number one thing that gets me, at least. Yeah, talking about it. Yeah, and just like it's okay to be having a hard time, and it's okay to be struggling. You just have to be honest with yourself and be honest with those around you and do what you can to, get through it. Yeah. And another one, like, kind of piggybacking off that is, like, know that it's normal and that this affects people from all walks of life. So it kind of kills me sometimes when I see people who hit up, like, celebrities or whatever and be like, what are you sad about? Like, you're rich, you're famous, you're so happy. It's like, it doesn't matter. People that I know who are quote unquote celebrities, like, sometimes they can be the saddest people in the world, and it's not about money, it's not about fame, it's not about any of that. It's about the things what's going on in your head. So I think that, that's important to remember. And some of the happiest, strongest people that you see or that and maybe this, like, includes you, whoever you are, you can still be impacted by these diseases. Yeah, absolutely. And like they say, a lot of comedians are depressed, but they love to make people happy. They love to make people laugh, and you would just never guess that in a million years. So I think another thing is just help others and give when you can. Surround yourself with positive, healthy people. There's no shame in cutting out negative people from your life. Not at all. You should never, ever feel guilty about that. And just find the good in life. Find all the light that you can. Yeah. So, and then I was going to just let you guys know, if I have, anyone out there who needs a resource, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is available 24 hours. And you can call 1-800-273-8255. And you'll be able to speak with someone who can kind of help you with whatever you're going through. And I just wanted to put that out there as a kind of just in case, you know, you're really just not feeling that great. But just do what you can to stay positive. And I hope you guys all just, stay beautiful and do what makes you feel good as long as it's safe and smart. And I want to thank you guys all for joining us for this episode. And Kylie, thank you for being open and like very just, honest about everything. And I hope that this I didn't want it to be like a sad episode or anything. I just wanted it to be very honest and open. So I hope you guys took some stuff away from this, and I will talk to you guys again next week. Bye.